What's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Q-Tip, and the week one of the NFL season is officially wrapped up. So I'm going to be talking about the main takeaways that I took away from the first week of the season and what I expect to see or what we could see throughout the rest of the season. First, Packers. The Packers looked really, really good. They were already one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl, especially after Michael Parsons joined the team via trade. Um, I think they became a lot of people's favorites, like betting odds or whatever. They look super dominant against the defending NFC North champions and Detroit Lions. 27-13 win. Jordan Love was efficient. Defense, super dominant. Michael Parsons didn't even play a ton. He played specific snaps and was dominant in those snaps. Shocker. Even helped in the run game, even though that's not what Jerry Jones thought that he was capable of doing, I guess. Jared Goff wasn't terrible. He was 31 to 39, 225 yards, touchdown, interception, got sacked 4 times. Um, the Lions were only able to rush for 46 yards for a 2.1 average. They really boxed them. The Packers defense boxed the Lions offense completely, honestly. Like, wasn't much downfield, weren't able to get anything in the run game, weren't able to find a rhythm. And I'm not too surprised considering Ben Johnson is gone. They also lost Aaron Glenn on the defensive end. They lost both their coordinators. So I figured there would be like a little bit of a gap there, just for a little bit, at least like the first couple of weeks. Especially when you're playing a team like the Packers, who knows exactly what they want to do on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. So I'm not too surprised. I still have the Lions finishing higher than them, but this is a game that is a little worrisome. But I'm gonna give it a few weeks before I'm pressing the panic meter on the Lions. Bills and Ravens, possibly the game of the year already. One of the best games of the weekend. Um, the Ravens had this game in the bag. Honestly, they were pretty dominant. Again, just similar to the Packers, they were pretty dominant. They were getting whatever they wanted offensively. They were finding Zay Flowers. Derrick Henry was doing his thing. Lamar Jackson was doing his thing, of course. And we get down to the fourth quarter. We get to the last couple of minutes. Derrick Henry fumbles after the Bills score. They come down and score again. It's 40 to 38. Third down, or they get it's like third down and 9. I think they gain like a 6 yard pass. D Hop caught and it was like 4th and 3. They're still on the Ravens side, and they decide to punt it. Now, me and some of the guys were in the group chat, and we were saying there's no way you punt it back. And this is before they even punt it back. We're like, there's no way you punt it back. He punted it back. Josh Allen, of course, in like 4 plays, gets him down there. Um, Jair Alexander gets fried all the way down the field, multiple plays. Um, and they run the clock down, kick a field goal, win the game. Two things. One, the Ravens have to find ways to win these kinds of games. They've been finding ways to lose these games for years, which is kind of crazy to me. Um, the Ravens are, I'll say John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh has been like safe because he won a championship so early on in his tenure. So he has that respect of like, oh, he's a Super Bowl quarterback or a Super Bowl head coach. He's a Super Bowl head coach. He's a Super Bowl head coach. At a certain point, you just get to like where it's like, okay, that Super Bowl was in 2012. Like you've had the team, you've had a good enough team to get to the Super Bowl the last 2 3 years, and you haven't even really, I don't want to say gotten close, but you really haven't been where you should be yet. And I think some of that has to go on him. Some of that has to be, you have to look at the coaching and be like, all right, something's off here. Now, granted, there's plays that need to be made, like Derrick Henry fumbling in this game, Mark Andrews dropping the ball and fumbling last year against the Bills. But sometimes it's just like preparation, being ready from the start. Like there's just something that's not there all the time with the Ravens, and I don't know exactly what it is. Second thing, this has to be the year for one of these teams. Like there's just no way these teams like end up meeting again, and it's like divisional round, and one of them still has to play the Chiefs in the conference championship, and they lose again. Like there's just no way y'all let the Chiefs get to the AFC or to the Super Bowl again. There's just no, like, this is the year. Like I know a lot of people said last year was the year. I still think they were really good, especially because the Chiefs were winning late games. Um, and I don't think they're bad this year. I have them being the second seed in my preseason predictions, but like they're only going to be vulnerable for so long. Like at a certain point, they're gonna get back to a point where it's gonna be really, really hard to stop them on offense and defense. Like, and it might be this year. Like, we might see things turn around. We might see things change. So, if I'm the Bills or I'm the Ravens, this is the year. Like, there is no other year. We can't talk about next year. We can't talk about what happened last year. This is the year that one. Like, we have to get to the Super Bowl, and not only get to the Super Bowl, we got to win. Like, enough getting to the doorstep and just being close. Got to win it. The Chargers. They might be better than some expected. 27-21 win over Kansas City in Brazil. Justin Herbert had 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. Keenan Allen had 7 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Quentin Johnston had his best game of his career, 5 catches, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. Um, really a really good game for the Chargers. The Chiefs, I'm not too surprised with the way they came out. I thought they'd be a little bit better, but Xavier Worthy getting hurt early on definitely was not helpful. Travis Kelce looked pretty good. He had 2 catches for I think it was like 47 and a touchdown. But um, I think when you don't have guys like Rasheed Rice and Xavier Worthy, it just makes it so much easier to slow down the team. Hollywood Brown had a good game. Juju Smith-Schuster had a good game. But if you can get all those guys out there at the same time, that's when it becomes a real issue for teams to try to guard them. But all in all, the Chargers are really good. They made plays defensively, and then they absolutely made up plays offensively, like similar to the Ravens. Like they had third down and long late game. It was like instead of giving this ball back to Pat Mahomes, we're gonna go for this first down. If we don't get the first down, we're going for it. Like there's no reason to give him the ball back and try to trust the defense to make a play on somebody that rarely ever turns the ball over in these kinds of situations. So impressed with the Chargers. Want to see them do a little bit more. The Chiefs, they play the Eagles next week, so we're gonna know a lot. There's gonna be a lot that we're gonna know. Speaking of the Eagles, they look pretty good, considering they didn't have Jalen Carter because he made a boneheaded decision first snap of the game, or before the first snap of the game, I guess. After kickoff, the offense was efficient. Jalen Hurts took whatever the Cowboys allowed him to do. If they tried to take away, if they tried to take away the run, he passed it. If they tried to take away the pass, he ran it. And then he ran it himself a good bit too when he had a bunch of time in the backfield. So they'll have to be better for sure because they did have a chance of losing this game because CeeDee Lamb dropped 2 passes in the fourth quarter. Guess you count three if you count the other one that he dove for, but some people said that's not a drop. So um, if he catches a few of those, maybe this game turns out different. Maybe they're 0-1, and both of the teams from the Super Bowl are 0-1 going into this game. But uh, this is a big game for both teams. I think, especially for the Chiefs, considering they got smacked by them in the Super Bowl. But also the Eagles. The Eagles are not the same team. They're not the same defense. And the secondary is not as good as it was last year. It looks like. So I'm curious to see if the Chiefs have anything different heading into this game, and if the Eagles try anything different, or if they're able to establish the run game when they won the Super Bowl. The Dolphins looked absolutely horrid. I'm not even gonna spend a lot of time on them. They just look so freaking bad. 33-8 loss to the Colts. Tua went 14 of 23, 114 yards, touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a fumble loss. And 3 of those were all in the first 3 possessions. So just absolutely terrible, terrible, terrible game from the Dolphins and Tua. And then Tyreek Hill is in the news again this morning, so don't know what's gonna happen there. So the Dolphins could be a long, long season for Dolphins fans. Michael Penix Jr., JJ McCarthy were impressive this past weekend. Obviously, JJ McCarthy played last night on Monday Night Football. Michael Penix played on Sunday against the Bucks. They did not win that game, but he put them in position to win the game. It just didn't make the field goal to go to overtime. Michael Penix Jr. was 27 to 42, 298 yards, 1 touchdown, or 1 pass touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. He looked pretty good. There was some plays that he left out there, but that's to be expected. He's a young guy. And then JJ McCarthy looked really good in his game last night. Obviously, the first three quarters weren't very good, but the last quarter he had three touchdowns. So really can't go wrong there. And based off what we've seen in the locker room and what we've seen from the guys around him, they really trust him. They really have high confidence in him. So I'm curious. I'm excited to see what JJ McCarthy's able to do the rest of the season. Also, Baker Mayfield doesn't. I mean, he's getting talked about more now. But Baker is not perfect by any means, but he's definitely one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. And when he doesn't make bad decisions or make mistakes, they win games 9 times out of 10. He was 17 to 32, 167 yards, three touchdowns. Emeka Buka had a great game in his first game. He had four catches, 67 yards, two touchdowns. Had the game-winning touchdown. So, um, and Mike Evans said that he called it beforehand, which he had done at Ohio State. So, shout out to Emeka Buka. Shout out to Baker Mayfield. Commanders. Shout out home team. Commanders handle business. Jaden Daniels had 233 yards. 233 yards. I don't even know how I said that just now. One touchdown. Bill Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt had 10 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown. Debo had seven catches, 77 yards, one rush for 19 yards and a touchdown. And the defense looked really good. Granted, it's the Giants, but the defense looked really good. The test will be this week. Well, actually, just a few days against the Packers. They play Thursday night in Green Bay, which we haven't won. I think someone said we haven't won there since like 1980 or 1970 something, which is crazy. So definitely interested to see how that game goes. That's going to be a big game. I hate when games like that are on Thursday night, though. Thursday night games are always kind of, yeah. So you never really know. But we had an early Thursday night game last year against the Bengals, and that was basically Jaden's coming out party, and Jaden's been really good in primetime games. So I have a good feeling about how the offense will play. The defense is the question. This is going to be the test for the defense of like, all right, is it similar to the defense from last year, or is this a different defense? That's what I'm looking at in this game. And then lastly, the Jets and the Steelers, potentially also another game of the weekend. Aaron Rodgers returned to MetLife 22 of 30, 244 yards, four touchdowns. Justin Fields 16 of 22 against his old team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. 16 of 22, 218 yards, touchdown. 12 rushing yard or 12 rushes for 48 yards, two touchdowns. And then Garrett Wilson had seven catches, 95 yards and a touchdown. Brees Hall had 19 carries for 107 yards. So the top three guys that you worried about for the Jets coming into the season had phenomenal week ones. So hopefully they're able to carry that on. The Steelers defense didn't look very good. Got to turn that around. But if you got Aaron Rodgers looking like this, I'm not saying he's going to give you 250 yards and four touchdowns every year or every week. But if you have an efficient Aaron Rodgers that's able to make the plays that he needs to make, the Steelers probably make the playoffs. I'm just going to be honest. Like, if this defense does what it's supposed to do and Aaron Rodgers plays the way that he's capable of, and I'm not saying MVP level, this team should make the playoffs. Justin Fields looked great. That was really awesome to see because, there's a lot of people that say crazy things about him. But hopefully he's able to continue that. That's all I have for week one takeaways so far. I'll be back next week. My week two takeaways. Maybe I'll do predictions tomorrow for the games throughout the week, or maybe I'll do it Friday. Yeah, maybe I'll do it Friday and drop them so we can see what the Sunday games look like. But appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you want to hear next.